this is another one called Excitra or Excitra. I don't know how you would pronounce that. And it is a golden ale, which basically is like a blonde ale. And yeah, it's using Citra hops, which sounds interesting. So I can already expect it's going to have a sort of like citrusy scent and taste. Much like the other Pheasantry Brewery bottles, there's not much in the way of information other than that it's brewed at Pheasantry Brewery. It's 4.5%, 500 milliliter bottle, and I have been keeping this in the fridge. Now this wasn't stored in the fridge, but I want to try doing some of those that have been put in the fridge. I don't know, because maybe it will be better. Who knows? Anyway, we're going to open up this beer and jump straight into a bit of a drink. Alright, we've got the drink open. I can smell that hoppy scent, that sort of like almost malt in the air. Okay, interesting. Not as citrusy as I would have thought, but then again, it's only in the bottle. Let's pour the drink and get into the best bit. There we go. Look at that. I could pour that. Now on the camera it looks a lot more like almost reddish. That's not the case. This is quite a bright amber gold, as opposed to something darker. Lighting kind of shifting gives it a different kind of colour, but I would say it's kind of like light to medium, amber, goldeny. Yeah, it looks good. Let's have a smell first. Very, very hoppy. Only a very subtle hint of citrus. I thought it would be a little bit more prevalent. Yeah, well, let's just get into the taste and maybe that will change things. There's a kind of a malt like there, but it's mostly kind of like this rich hop. Interesting. I'm not really getting any citrus. Very subtle amount. This is more malt than it is anything else. At least that's how I interpret it. The only way I can describe this that I think isn't using the words I used before is a meatier beer. It's a meatier ale than I would have expected. I was expecting something a little bit more lighter, less like dense, and I don't want to say sweeter, but like a more sort of up note citrus, but it's actually quite malty, which isn't necessarily bad, it's just not what I was expecting. Okay, kind of like the back of the throat, the aftertaste. There is a citrus there, but it is mild. But it's mild and it's quiet. Yeah. So, if I were to kind of describe the other elements of the beer, again, I'm not 100% sure I'm using these terms correctly, but I'm giving it a go. I'm trying. We out here trying. I would say that's pretty full-bodied. It's not like as heavy as you might expect. I guess a Guinness or a somewhat heavy. I'm trying to find where I sit with this one. It's definitely not like, it's not bad. It's not bad. I'd much prefer this over the porter, personally. Obviously, I don't really like the porters. Or maybe at least that one. Oh. That was a taste a bit like pencil sharpenings. Okay, thus far, I have to say, I'm not as impressed with this one as I am the other Pheasantry Brewery ones. I don't really remember quite how I felt about the Dragonfly one. I'm trying to put in my mind what my sort of feelings were to that, but I don't really remember. I remember enjoying the Pilsner for sure. That was stunning. The Pilgrim, I think I was like, yeah, it's not bad. I wouldn't put this above the Pilgrim for sure. I wouldn't put it above. Oh, that's interesting. How do I describe this? I want to say there's like a caramel malt in there, because there's a slight sweetness that I remember from the King Goblin, not the King Goblin. Was it King Goblin? No, the Ruby. I think you know which one I'm referring to if you've watched the other drink reviews. The Ruby one from King Goblin. There was like it was quite sweet, which I put down to being like a caramel malt. That is a little bit like what, there's a scent in here that resembles that. Like it's a distant sweetness. But I'm surprised that they don't kind of articulate quite how malty this is, because it is. Mouthfeel, it's not actually as bad as I thought it might be with, like after I've taken a few sips. Usually with quite heavier drinks like this, I find that my mouth is a little bit tacky afterwards, like it's left a residue. That said, in this regard, it doesn't really feel like that. It doesn't really feel like that at all. Not at all. It's just not that bad. There's definitely a bitter taste that comes with the maltiness. It is almost like bread in some kind of regard. I'm struggling to decide where I would place this in terms of like quality. Hard to describe. I think I'm settling on, I'm not too fond on this one. I'm getting now kind of like a bitter aftertaste in the mouth, and I just want something sweet. I'm actually going to take a sip of this Pepsi I've got over here. See, that's now nice. I kind of want to put lemonade in this. I know that's kind of sacrilege, but I feel like it needs a balance. pseudo sweetness is much stronger at the end. It's interesting, like the further down I get, the more that there is this kind of like layer of caramel malt, but I don't think it's got any kind of caramel malted in it. It doesn't really tell you what is in here beyond the types of grain that are used. So we've got water, malted barley, wheat, hops and yeast. Obviously, like they're the basics, but yeah, there's kind of a twist to it. I don't know. I'm not a major fan on this. I can't lie. I'm a little bit disappointed. I thought it was going to be a little bit more kind of like, I don't know how I don't really know how to describe it. I wasn't thinking like New England IPA style, like more flavoursome in a more like fruity or floral kind of way. But I guess with the citrus, I was expecting kind of a different layer. But it's really, I think it's really subtle. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm identifying citrus wrong. But it definitely doesn't. It doesn't taste the way that I thought it would, having read the bottle. It certainly doesn't smell that way. Yeah, it smells really malty. And it tastes that way too. It's got that kind of strong bitterness. Alright, I think because I'm not like a super vibing with it, I'm not going to force myself to drink the whole thing and like unsettle my stomach. So we'll give our like last kind of thoughts on it. It'll be a bit of a shorter one. So here we are. We've tried the Excitra today by Pheasantry Brewery. A apparently golden ale or a blonde. Yeah. I don't know. They're probably not good sounds. There you go. Well, tell me if you like them. So, rounding thoughts. Excitra. I don't know. I would put it about mid B because, or mid to low B personally, because it's not amazing. I don't want to put it in A because A are the ones I think, oh yeah, I quite like them. I don't really want to put it there. So, I think I'm going to stick with a mid to low B for Excitra. Maybe I just got a bad batch. I don't think so though. I think that is just the drink, which, you know, if you like kind of malty ales, you might like it. I'm certain that there was like a caramel malt in there, but I could be wrong. Again, I could just be misidentifying because there's so many variations and so many ways of doing it. It's hard to be like quite that clear cut. So there we go. And there's the top of the bottle. There's the lid. By the way, it's just bland. A blank yellow lid. So thank you very much for listening in. I hope you enjoyed. If you did,